These are hands down my favorite books of 2024, and a couple of them I will accept no criticism on. First up, we have The Haunting of Hill House. If you've seen the show, or even if you haven't, this is a fantastic read. It's canon. I like how different it is from the show. I found that this was actually one of the scariest books I've read. I was reading it at night and I got to this one particular thing that happens and I literally had goosebumps all up and down my arms and I was scared to go to the bathroom in the dark. I love this book. No criticism allowed. We have Piranesi. This book is fantastic. I've just finished up my second read on it just this year, and this book is upsetting. It makes me think. The allegories are incredible. I love the way that everything kind of makes you feel like a kid again. You're kind of having to fill in the gaps with your imagination. You will make it probably halfway, almost 3/4 of the way through the book before you even know what's actually happening, and then you still don't even know what's happening. Love this book. This one's a controversial one. It is a true story, but written in a fiction fashion. Massive trigger warnings, everything on this one. When Rabbit Howls. It's a book about a woman's experience living with dissociative identity disorder. And I will say part of the reason I love this book is because it is a disorder with so much stigma and misunderstanding around it. And the author sharing her true life experience, being super brave, putting it all out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just think it's one of the most beautiful works of real life presented in kind of a third-party narrative that I've ever experienced. Gotta recommend this book. No criticism. This may be a surprise. Just kidding. Babel is fantastic. I fell in love with this book a couple of pages in and I was like, I can't put it down. I think I finished this book in like 48 hours right around a holiday, and I was just like, this is so fantastic. What I love about this book is it kind of takes you on a wild adventure where you don't know what's going to happen, but the adventure is mostly in one place. I love the way that they explain the power of words and culture and backgrounds and experiences. I absolutely adore this book. Next up, we've got Crazy Rich Asians. I liked the movie a lot and I wanted to read the book mostly because I absolutely adored Amarinta, and I was like, I want to know more about her story. So I read this and then I read the 2 books that follow it. It's not the most literary work of art. It's not a Babel. It's not a, those types of books, but it's really fun. And you'll actually find yourself laughing out loud as you read this book, which I thought was fun. And I did drop it into the bathtub, so I'm kind of sad about that, but I love this book so much. This one's going to come with a lot of controversy. It has already. I personally love this book. Most people are very upset and they have hated it. I didn't know anything about this book or the author before I read it, so make sure you kind of brush up on trigger warnings, the behaviors of the author, etc. But when I read it, I was going through a time of grieving and mourning what friendships had been versus what they were, and losing a really important friend in my life. And I was realizing that this book just kind of made me appreciate some of like the subtle parts of day-to-day life, the things that aren't glamorous. I personally wouldn't recommend this book to anybody, but I really liked it. And I did cry my eyes out like a baby. Okay, this book was not perfect, but I really liked it. I kind of felt like the first half of this book took me on an incredible wild ride. When Women Were Dragons, it explained to me kind of like what it would be like if, female rage got so intense that women experienced a bodily change that changed the game completely. And what I loved about this book was how it kind of made me appreciate female friendship even more so. It was about halfway through the book though that I was like, okay, and now what? And it was a little bit more of the same. So I didn't fall in love with this book, but I really liked it. I thought it was a fantastic book. And lastly, I am not finished with this book yet because I don't have enough time to sit down and enjoy it with my kids. I want to devour every single word. Every single word. It's magical, it's mystical, it's tribal. It's about basically the concept of being hated for who you are as a part of like your culture, your heritage, your race. And what I have been enjoying about this book is it's helping me to understand the importance of how you tell stories and how important it is for stories to be told and passed down and shared. At least that's what I've been taking from it, and I've been loving hearing, actually I don't want to spoil anything. This book is fantastic. I went into it not knowing anything about it, and I'm probably a fourth of the way done. I kind of don't care how it ends because I'm so in love with the storytelling from this author. I think Tomi, right? And I can't get enough of this book. I need like a whole week to just sit down in a cabin, child-free, and just read this book and devour it. Let me know if you'd like me to share anything else about these books. They're just some of the books I've really liked, and I like to hear what books people enjoy and kind of get a feel for what other books might be nice. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them below.